Well, hello, welcome to the Tail Tree Cabins. We're down here in Southern Ohio. We got some chores to do down here, kind of figuring out what we're going to do with some of the stuff we're going to have to vacate if we start rebuilding. We're still on the fence on if that's going to happen this year or not. We got some tree stands to take down. I'm going to give a little review on my UTV, the Polaris 570 mid-size. I've got about 100 miles on it now, so just my take how it's been working out for me. And why don't you come check it out? During hunting season, I thought it was a good idea to get the mud off the tires to just run it through the open fields where there were some good-sized puddles. Well, that didn't work out too good because it looks like I accumulated a lot of hay underneath the undercarriage.
Oh, that don't look too bad. That's your air intake. So I wouldn't go higher than that once it starts sucking it in there.
Don't have any car washes nearby, but this might get some of the debris off of the bottom if I make a few good passes through this nice sized creek we have near our cabin.
One more time. Would that be like the Polish car wash?
Got some decent weather here in March. Temps are in the 50s, low 60s. It's that time of year where we take down a lot of our hunting stuff up on the hill. This used to be a chore when I had my regular ATV trying to strap things down to it, but now with the Ranger it makes it a little bit easier to carry this feeder along with another feeder and some tree stands. Well, it don't sound like that guy killed any deer. Like keep the stuff from sliding around too. There's a butt out.
That scare me.
This may help you. Yeah. We gonna take the Widowmaker down?
Whatever you want.
See if we gotta cut any trees down or anything out there. Great day to be out in the woods. Even better to be out on the UTV and just getting some projects taken care of and enjoying the nice weather.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Alright, I'll step on this end, see if we can twist it.
Space is going to be a premium if we decide to level the cabin this year, and I'm going to be storing a lot of stuff in the shed. And this lawnmower hasn't been started in about 8 years, and if it doesn't start, I'm going to pitch it. But it's always been like a backup if my riding mower doesn't start. I guess we'll be hanging on to that a little longer. So 100 miles, my first 100 miles with this Polaris 570 midsize, and I'll just give you a little quick review on how it's been doing for me. And this is not going to be for everybody out there, but it's just my opinion for my needs and how it's worked out for me so far. So a little bit of history before I purchased this. I had a couple ATVs before that. I had a Yamaha Kodiak, which is very similar to a Grizzly, and that was a 450. And then I had a Can-Am Outlander Max, which was technically a two-seater. It sat, they call it a one-up, one in front of the other. And those were the two ATVs I used down here on the property, and I used at home, one for plowing snow at home, and occasionally I'd bring them both down here, but I really only needed one down here in southern Ohio for hunting and doing chores around our property. I started getting tired of trying to finagle new ways of strapping things onto my old ATV, tree stands, deer feeders, stuff to carry up to the rear part of our property. Some of it was sometimes dangerous or precarious, and I started thinking that maybe a side-by-side was the way to go. One of my friends brought his side-by-side with him hunting one year, and it actually was very agile and much more quicker getting up the hill than my regular ATV, and I thought, this might be the way to go for me in the future. So one thing that was important was I did not want to break the bank. I wanted to really go economy model. So I went with the 570 midsize, and you really can't get much cheaper than that except for maybe the midsize 500. This one, like I said, is 570. Of course, they make 800s, 900s, 1,000. All I needed was something to get me around my property. It was very important for me to get on top of the hill. I wanted to carry stuff back here. I'm probably not a huge trail rider, at least not in this area. I do go out and about, but it's mostly to burn up gas that's been sitting in the tank for a while, and what better way to just go on some of the backcountry roads and use up a tank of gas and put some fresh gas in there. I do use stabilizer, but I still don't like to keep it in there any longer than 6 months at a time, and sometimes the gas, can be lasting up to a year, and I'm just uncomfortable leaving it in there like that. When I got this, it was probably right around 10.5, 10.6 out the door, and I had sold both of my other ATVs, so that kind of cushioned the blow a little bit. And when I purchased this, it was bare bones economy model, as I said. There's really nothing in there. I added my own light bar, I added my own winch to it, and some other lights and small features to put the roof on, some other additions, but I didn't want to go too crazy because, like I said, I don't want to break the bank. I just want it to help me out around the property. I'd bring it home from time to time just to store it and work on it if it needs some work, do oil changes, stuff like that. So primarily just a workhorse here around the property is what I really wanted it for. I do think about some trail riding now and then. There are some trails not far from our cabin in Tennessee that are fairly popular, and I thought maybe, in the future I could bring the UTV down there and maybe a couple other buddies if they want to bring their stuff, and we got a place to stay at our cabin if the timing works out right when it's not rented. Got a little bit of interest in maybe the Hatfield McCoy Trail, but I'm not into getting hip deep into mud and having to have some kind of snorkel on top to keep the water out because you're in 4 feet of water. I definitely don't want that. I'd like just nice scenic views, easy trail riding, not a lot of dust and mud, just something a little bit more laid back and relaxing. So that would be the extent of my trail riding. When I first got it and brought it down here, we kind of had to widen our paths a little bit because they were used to a smaller ATV going through the trails. But we widened those paths up. We tested it out on the Widowmaker, which is the steepest part of the hill we have to go up. And it did pretty good, but the conditions were kind of dry. It hadn't rained in a while, and it made it up there. Now with the 570, it's going to do some work to get up there. It's going to make a heck of a lot of noise getting up there, and you're going to wind up the RPMs making it. But it makes it up there for me, no problems and no issues. I saved some money over getting something larger. A lot of people said I would regret not getting something larger. So I made it up to Widowmaker. I was a little disappointed that it didn't have an engine brake on the way down to slow me down coming down that steep hill. And it's a learning curve using the brake pedal and trying to put it in low and giving it enough gas so that the engine engages to give you a little bit of an engine brake. Otherwise, it feels like you're going in neutral. That's probably one of my biggest complaints. I'm not a person that really wanted to add a windshield or doors to it or go too much decked out. You can really spend a ton of money on these if you want to. You could have heating added to it. You could have a GPS screen added to it. It could almost just be like a regular car. And like I said, I didn't want to get that crazy. I wanted to stay somewhat economical with it, but yet give me a whole new world of opportunities when it comes to taking care of things on the top of our hill, hauling things around, and just using it as what it is, a work utility vehicle. Usually a lot of questions you get when you make a purchase like this and you put it on YouTube is somebody will make a comment, did you regret anything when you first purchased it? If you had to do it again, would you do it the same way? And I gotta say, I would still purchase this just the way it went down. You can certainly spend a lot more money and get things bigger, better, faster. But for my needs and the property that I use it on, it's working out just fine. And I wouldn't change anything. I'd just keep it the way it is. It's been a nicer experience going up and down the hill. It was a nicer hunting season. We had some inclement weather and some snow. So when that Widowmaker gets slick, when it's rained for a couple days, you might have 1 or 2 virgin chances of getting up that hill. And then once you disturb that topsoil of dirt and you reveal the slippery clay underneath, it's not going to make it. Getting down is just as precarious as going back up that hill. That would be my only caveat or drawback, but there's certainly a lot more pros having this than having the regular ATV. I do miss the regular ATV from time to time. It was nice. It felt like a motorcycle, more agile going through the woods. This gives you a lot more opportunities. Having the bed in the back is great. We can put a lot of things in there. We took down 2 feeders while we were here at the same time, where that never happened before. I'd have to make 2 special trips. Same thing with the tree seats. It just shortened my trips going up and down the hill, and it makes it a little bit safer when I'm carrying this stuff. So if you're a big time trail rider, you want to get into that thick mud, if you want to get into 3-4 feet of water, this probably is not the UTV for you. You're probably going to want something a little more powerful, a little bit heavier. If you just need something around the farm and you've got very flat land, this thing would be perfect. It'd be overkill to get anything else. I got some hills and it can handle the hills down here. I can haul some stuff. I can haul wood from up top. But if you're really into the sport with the UTV and you want to go trail riding, you want to just, get into the thick of things, you're going to want something a little bit bigger, better, and badder. So all in all, it's been a good machine for me. I haven't broken anything yet. It's been reliable. I know it's only got 100 miles on it. I got ways to go, but I don't put a lot of miles on these things. And that's my little mini review. So take it with a grain of salt, but it's working out good for me. And if I had to do it again, I'd do it exactly the way I did it. Another beautiful day up here on top of the hill. We got a few more chores to do up here, and then we can head back down and take care of things down there. I was given a pretty inexpensive electric pressure washer, and it does the job down here. At least when I come back next time, I'll have a clean UTV waiting for me in the shed. We got one more night, and then we're going to be heading home tomorrow. So thank you for watching these videos. Hope you enjoy them. Subscribe, and keep an eye on us. Take care, everybody.
But I don't think I need the Pro for that much more money. You're looking at, you know, another $300.
Right.